Welcome to the Marriage Can Win Show. I am Eric, and this is my beautiful, lovely wife, Dr. Sakisha Halleck, and we are always, forever, your relationship experts.
Well, here at Marriage Can Win, we educate, empower, and encourage you to embrace that marriage can win, especially when you focus on three key areas: improving your communication skills, developing sound money management skills so you are not living paycheck to paycheck, and enhancing your level of intimacy so your marriage can win. And we've been focusing a lot on the family structure these last couple of weeks. But this week, we want to delve into something completely different. For the past couple of months, you've heard us talking about a project that we've been involved in called Struggling to Keep the Vows. And we are super excited to announce that the book is ready to be released. We're super, super excited. We actually have a copy of it right here. So for those of you, if you're listening online, you can make sure you join us. We are going to have an amazing celebration of the book launch. Join us online next Wednesday, September 30th at 7 p.m. Now, this event is going to be free, but you must register in order to gain access to it. Now, the website for that is very simple. It's bit.ly/keep the vows. Again, bit.ly/keep the vows. And we are super excited. We want to introduce you to one of our collaborators on this dynamic project. And she is an amazing woman. We were so happy to have her on board on this project. So we're going to let her tell you a little bit about herself, because I'll be here forever singing her praises. She's an amazing woman, an intercessor. She's a licensed therapist, and she knows how to tell you a little something about marriage and relationships. So everybody join me in welcoming one of our amazing co-authors, Miss Schellie Fanfan. Schellie, how are you doing this evening?
I am doing well. I am thoroughly blessed, spoiled, feeling great during these challenging times, to feel great and to just acknowledge all the things that we're grateful for. It's an amazing feeling. So I feel amazing.
Wow. Well, Schellie, we're just so honored to have you as a part of this project. You know, when you talk about couples and marriage and relationships, a lot of times people don't like to deal with those hard issues, those parts of marriage and relationships that may be challenging, particularly those couples out there that are struggling to keep their vows. Yes. So that was the premise for this entire project. When you think about it, when you hear those words, for better, for worse, in sickness and health, for richer, for poorer, until death do you part, that, sometimes they take it with a grain of salt until they actually are walking through those aspects of the relationship. And then it's like, oh my gosh, I really didn't think that applied to me. So for you being a therapist, we love the perspective that you brought to this project. Yes. Tell us, what is the one thing that attracted you to this Struggling to Keep the Vows project?
Awesome. Well, twofold. It's twofold. So as you stated, I am a licensed psychotherapist. I'm an owner of a consulting firm that specializes in corporate training. So we bring corporations and other business entities to their next level through the provision of psychoeducation. On a day-to-day basis, I provide individual therapy, couples counseling, and also family therapy as well. And so I wanted to be able to use the skills and expertise that I have and the anointing on my life to really help couples to build the skill set that they need to fight and to win, because it's all about a skill set, learning new information. I say this all the time. My mentor says it all the time, that our breakthrough, our survival, our abundance, total life prosperity is on the other side of something that we do not know. And I wanted to be able to provide that new information and that perspective. In addition to that, I also had a personal goal, and that was to take my own experience in a failed marriage, a marriage that ended in divorce, and to use the experience that I had in that to be able to provide a different perspective than the other collaborators to those who were reading. And the reason why I was so committed to doing that is because I did not have that education. I did not have that support. even though I had examples around me from individuals who were married for many, many years, and I saw the way that my aunts and my uncles, my own parents, right, my grandparents, watched them live out that vow to the very, very end. When it came to me, I still lacked the skill set that I needed to truly fight and do the things that I needed to do to assure that we were able to overcome our obstacles. So this project has given me the opportunity to share that experience on a personal level, spiritual level, and professional level as well.
Wow. Now that is amazing. And that's one of the things, of course, you're an amazing therapist and the anointing that's on your life, and just watching you being able to connect with couples and help people. I thought it would be really, really appropriate to help, or bring a fresh perspective.
Yes.
Because it's very easy to say, okay, you guys are still married. What do you really have to offer? And we're like, well, we've been through the challenges,
Yes,
and that's why it's a practical guide on how to win at marriage for couples who are going through what you're going through, but to also bring a fresh perspective that, okay, I've been where you are and this is what happened. But then to say, okay, well, these are the lessons I've learned. These are the strategies that you can incorporate that will help you in your marriage. And I think that's really so important in this season. We've been talking a lot about the significance and the importance of the family structure in America, and how it's been, I'd hate, for lack of better words, watered down or obliterated. I mean, I'm at a lot of words right now, but this is a subject that really hits home for us. And we think it's really, really important for our listeners, for our readers, to understand that you don't have to go through it alone, that you don't have to suffer in silence. You have a lot of people that are struggling to keep their vows. And because they're in positions of authority, because they're in ministry, because, they have this appearance, they're afraid to open up, to help someone for someone to be able to help them peel back those layers and really deal with the issues. And we wanted couples to understand that, look, being in ministry, being a professional, it doesn't, prevent you from having those same challenges. But here's an opportunity to connect with a group of individuals who have been there and are willing to be transparent in their journeys. And I think that's going to be the blessing to help couples get to that other side.
Well, I think people can really relate because you're not someone who's never gone through anything.
Right.
It's not like we were just married last month. Have the best marriage and relationship, No, when we got 22 years, been together 26 years,
and been through a lot of challenges,
been through a lot of ups and downs, and the fork in the road. We've been there, done it, wrote the book.
But you know what? The challenging thing is just being able to allow the readers to understand. A lot of times you're looking at couples and they're smiling on the outside, but suffering in silence on the inside.
Yes.
So when people see us smiling, we're like, yes, because we are at a place now where we're good. You didn't see the nights that we cried, the tear-soaked pillows, looking over at a stranger like, why are you still here? And understanding that you can overcome that, and your marriage can still win. So that is just something that we think is awesome. So what is one of the greatest pieces of advice that you could give to couples that are struggling to keep their vows?
Oh man, I before I get into that, I want to address something that you said about the family structure being watered down. When you said that, immediately I can hear Dr. Miles Monroe's voice so loud in my ears, where he teaches that unity, that covenant marriage between a man and a woman, just how important and powerful it is, because strong marriages produce strong families, and strong families produce strong communities, and strong communities promote a strong nation. And so when we're talking about our country as a whole, our world as a whole, the enemy knows that if they can attack the unity between a man and a woman, attack that marriage, then there's a win, right? There's a win for the dark side. And so we have to understand that it's so much bigger than ourselves, that the reason that we have to fight is so much more than our happiness, but it's also a part of our purpose as kingdom believers. One of the things that I will say is that I am not coming from a perspective of I was in a marriage and I was, a young marriage. We were married for 2 or 3 years. No, we were married for 15 years. And that's a really long time, in my opinion, anyway. 15 years, 2 children, achieved great success financially, had our struggles as well. And walking away from the marriage was because we did not see the light at the end of the tunnel. We thought the grass was greener on the other side. We thought that we had reached the end. And one of the things that I want everyone to know who reads the book is this: it is worth the fight. The grass is not greener on the other side. There is an answer. There is a way to work out your issues. You do not have to be motivated to fight. A lot of the times we think that our feelings are facts, and they are not. They are just feelings. Feelings come and feelings go. And a lot of the times when we are making the decisions to separate, they are based on very emotional decisions, and emotions are not permanent. Feelings are not facts. And so sometimes people feel that because I'm checked out, or because we're both checked out, because we don't have the motivation, because we do not want it, means that it's time to throw in the towel. And let me tell you, listen, it is worth the fight even though you don't want it. Go to those counseling sessions, even though you don't want it. Go on those date nights, even though you don't want it, because there is victory on the other side. We have to stay persistent. We have to persevere. We have to fight to keep that vow, because everything that you're going through can pass away. It can be a season. We never, ever want to make a permanent decision on something that is temporary. And listen, I have heard the worst of the worst.
Yes.
I've been in this field for over 24 years. I get it. I understand it. Are there exceptions to what I just said? Absolutely, there are. There are individuals who are in very abusive situations where their livelihood, they're staying in the marriage would place them at imminent risk of harm, or imminent risk of harm to their children. So I get it. There are exceptions. But for most of the reasons why people divorce, they are for situations and issues that can be repaired, that situations that can be restored, situations where God's redeeming power can manifest. And this is from a person who made that decision, and even now can say, could we have fought it out? Absolutely. Could we have overcome our differences? Absolutely. And so that is my perspective. That is the contribution that I have to the book. Hey, I've been there, done that. I made that decision. And I am telling you, it is not the answer. Fighting and persevering and believing God to do the rest is the answer. One of the things that I forgot, one of the things that I wasn't focused on, I was acting like I was in a marriage with him, just us two. No, I totally forgot that this was a threesome with Jesus right smack in the middle. And we have to be reminded of that. And this is why, like you said, staying in silence will keep people trapped in a lie. We have to talk about it. We have to make sure that we are aligning ourselves with other people that understand the importance of the fight. A lot of the times we are listening to that whisper, oh, marriages don't work, sex goes sour as soon as you get married, she changes as soon as kids are born. All of those negative messages that cause people to run as soon as things don't look like what you expected. And so we need new information. We need real life stories where people can talk about when I lost attraction, when the love shifted, when we didn't have anything to talk about but God. We have to hear more of those stories. We need people to be more honest about their situations. We need ministry leaders and other political leaders and those of influence to take the mask off and be honest about your experience to help people to break through and continue to maintain their marriages. And that is why I love this project, and I love what God is doing and is about to do with this book.
Now, see, that's why I'm saying, that's why we got you in this project with us. Because you got to get the best of best so you can reach the rest.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So all y'all looking out there, if you haven't gotten a copy of this book, Struggling to Keep the Vow, you best go ahead and get your copy, because all that power that you see right there is in the book. And when you read it, that same power is going to jump out to you and change your lives, change your relationship, turn it from being upside down to right side up.
Yes. And the thing is that it works, marriages work, but you do have to work at it. Think about how the level of commitment we have to our jobs, to our families, to our businesses. Now, you mean to tell me you can't give that same amount of energy to your marriage? And I'm sure you may be listening and saying, okay, Sakisha, you don't know what I've been through. You don't know this. I understand. Trust me, I do understand. But the fact remains, we will fight tooth and nail. And I don't know who I'm talking to, but for those of you who have children, regardless of what it looks like, if your child needs something, is in need, you will go to warfare on that for that child. You will be on your knees morning, noon, night, seeking help, seeking guidance, whatever you need to do. So don't tell me you can't do it for your marriage.
That's right.
You know, you can either make a choice and stay where you are, or take a chance and fight for it. And I say, you fight for that marriage. And I mean, like Schellie mentioned, of course, there are going to be situations if your life is in danger. By all means, we understand that. I'm not saying put your life in danger by any means, but don't just throw in the towel so easily, because when you leave one relationship and you go to another, there's still unresolved issues that need to be addressed. So you carry them from one relationship to the other. That's a new person, but they're still going to have their set of challenges as well. So that's just something we want you to be mindful of. But again, we invite you to join us next Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Take a moment, invest in yourself, invest in your relationship. Register now at bit.ly/keep the vows. Again, bit.ly/keep the vows. Now, Schellie, I'm sure that the listeners are out there like, how can I get in touch with her? Can you provide them your contact information? Because we're coming through a pandemic. You have couples that have been quarantined and they're learning. For some reason, some of them have been, this is their first time actually being together in the house for extended periods of time. And after talking to some wives, they're at their wits' ends. So we want to encourage them. If that's you, don't increase this number of divorce filings. Stay connected with us. Let me give you Schellie's information. Schellie, what's your website? What's the easiest way for them to contact you?
So the easiest way to connect with me, again, is through my website. That's www.askschellie.com. You can also connect by emailing me directly at info@askschellie.com. I don't know how many times people have come to me and they have said, you know what? I really was hesitant about coming in today. I tried therapy before and therapy did not work. And every time I hear that statement, I kind of cringe, because therapy is not designed to work. It exists for people to work it, right? So you're not therapy. I say to my client, you have to work therapy. Yeah. So it's just like that with marriages. People just expect the marriage to just miraculously work. You have to work it. And it takes skill sets. It takes those foundational skills that many of us did not learn. Some of us don't even know what submission looks like. We have to learn. There's a lot of lessons that we didn't learn from our parents, or we learned a lot of negative lessons in watching them, right? And so it's important to learn new associations, learn the skill, and you can get that through therapy. You can get that through therapy. You can work and you can, like I said, learn the new skills and fight to preserve your marriage. I'm ready for the phone call.
Wow. All right. Well, we're super excited, Schellie. We want to thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us this evening. We provided the contact information. You guys make sure you stay connected with Schellie. And one of the things you said, and that's a totally different conversation. I'm like, oh gosh, do I want to say something? But yeah, absolutely. Submission is not a curse word. It is not. Now, we'll be here all night on another tangent and how it's a powerful word. It comes from a place of strength. But we might have to get together with you and do a live and talk about it. But we definitely want to encourage you. Remember bit.ly/keep the vows. And the book is called I Do Struggling to Keep the Vows, a practical guide of how to win at marriage for couples who are going through couples that have gone through what you are going through. So we really, really would love for you to join us next Wednesday. We look forward to seeing you there. Schellee's going to be there. For those of you, make sure you register. We've got giveaways. We're going to be celebrating. We're going to have vendors there. It's going to be amazing. So we look forward to seeing you there. Schellie, thank you again so much for joining us, and we will be in touch soon. We look forward to next Wednesday celebrating with all of you guys. Okay?
Yay!
All right. Thank you again so much, Schellie.